This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas. Namaskar, welcome to Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas, and in this program we not only talk about various issues, we also have personalities from different fields. Miss Pakistan World. Zanib, welcome to ITV studio.
Thank you for having me. So glad to be here.
And how do you feel? Let's talk about your crown first.
Oh, I feel great. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I didn't expect it, and it was hard work on stage and 4 days of preparations. And before that, you know, prepping for it for a while, for a few months now, I just feel honored, and it's a blessing. I feel great.
Well, let's talk about your becoming aware that there is something called beauty, and I have a special relationship with this side of human value or virtue called beauty. So when you grow up, you need, along with the looks, a kind of self-esteem, a sort of conviction. So share with us that understanding as it started growing in you, maybe in school, college, wherever, with parents, family members.
Well, to begin with, I come from a family that's very opinionated, and since we were little, we're thought to be confident. You know, I learned that from my parents, and I grew up, you know, I embodied that. And going into school, I've always been that opinionated person, so I joined organizations that would get my opinions out there, and then I could be a leader in, or that I strongly believe in. So it was natural. I mean, going from growing up to college, I've always been part of organizations that, you know, make leaders, that stand out leaders, and it was something that I embodied from throughout.
Zanib, the word opinionated sometimes is used in the negative sense, but the way you are using it is definitely positive.
Right.
So tell me, when you said that you wanted your opinion to go out through these organizations and what you believe in, etc. So let's talk about what you believe in,
Right.
which you feel should be conveyed.
Well, speaking of my college, when I was in college, I joined an organization that was for Pakistani and Indian people. So it was called DOSA, which stands for Desi Heritage South Asians. And I worked my way up, and I became the president. And throughout that organization, what we were trying to do was promote our culture, what we're all about. So it came natural, you know, like I wanted people to see what Pakistan and India is about. And a lot of people have negative opinions or negative thinking about such countries. Well, I would just speak about mine as Pakistan right now. People think very negatively about it. So what I was trying to do in that organization was promote my culture and let the positivity come out and show people what we're all about, you know, not what they see in the media or not what they hear. We're loving people, and, you know, we promote our culture in any way possible. And that's what my opinions are.
You know, it's very interesting territory. So one opinion which people have even about an individual through what they hear, and another when they know about the person directly. The same way about nations also. In some way, what even someone in India would know about Pakistan would be different than someone who lives there.
Right.
But what you gather through news media, and some of them are based on facts,
Right.
tells you that there has been a sort of very intense activity that has resulted into terrorism and various places that has been a source of causing destruction or some sort of violent outburst. So when you also hear about these news pieces, and since you are out there as a face from Pakistan, then people come up to you and they want some sort of, call it a clarification, or you for no reason or nothing that you have done, you become on a tight spot,
Right.
advocating for a nation which is seen in a negative light,
Right.
because of all these things. That includes Osama bin Laden being found in Pakistan.
Right.
So how do you deal with these issues?
Well, I try to tell people that in every country, like even the United States, you have people who have their own opinions about certain issues. And yes, in Pakistan, there are extremists, no doubt about it. And they have taken it to another level, where they're putting Islam in a negative way. So I try to tell people that what they're doing is not what Islam is about. I educate people that in our book, Quran, it's written to be humble, to love. It promotes love, and people have such negative thinking due to the fact what people are promoting Islam as. And I try my best to educate people, to tell people more about, what it says in Quran. And nowhere does it say go out and kill people, and nowhere does it say, you have the right to shoot somebody because they have different opinions than you. So I try to educate people as much as I can, and yes, people get drawn towards that issue more because they think that all Pakistani people are like that. So being part of this pageant and winning this crown just is an example that Pakistan is not all that you guys think it is. It has different ways of promoting their culture, and I'm promoting mine in this way.
So at this point, I recollect the lady behind this Pakistan World pageant, who IT viewers have also met, Sonia Ahmed. And initially, when this pageant was started, it also resulted into a lot of opposition for her.
I think when I first started the pageant, it was a very strong negative response. So right away, the community went upside down, saying, "Oh, this should not be happening. Pakistani girls are not supposed to be walking on the ramps and representing Pakistan in pageants and things like that." So, I got a shock because I was not under the impression that in Canada, Pakistani community was thinking, as such. But within a couple of years, maybe 2-3 years later, everything started changing.
Along with prestige comes responsibility, and you also have different interpretations of the same thing, and especially if we talk about faith, then the way you are interpreting, or maybe she's interpreting, or a group of people, and those who are extremists, they are interpreting, it is definitely different. Right. So from conservative point of view, for a lady to walk on a ramp and share her beauty, that also is probably considered as a religiously something that should be shunned.
Right.
What is your response to them, actually?
I would just, like I said before, people have their opinions, and of course they look at these pageants. I mean, some in Pakistan look at this pageant in a negative way. They think that we're going against our religion and doing something that we're not supposed to do. But I don't think there's anything wrong with what we're doing. If people, like I said before, people have their own opinions, and if people think that way, then you can't do much about it. As much as we can, what we try to do is educate people, and in Pakistan itself, I believe that, the people are not that educated to know the difference between, culture and religion. They have their own opinions. They lived in one kind of status, and they've been living there for a while, and, they haven't moved up to find out what the world has turned into. So the people who have those opinions are still people who are living from the back ages, who have not seen that the culture is growing and humans are growing with it. And being a Pakistani woman, yes, I respect my religion, I love my religion, and I've grown, into how the world is today. And we have to accept that. And if you don't, then can't do much about it.
We talked about issues which are very important, but they demand a lot of thinking. And many times people have had this sort of a myth, a notion that beauty and brains do not go together. Did you come across people with this sort of prejudice? Or they say that you're beautiful and that's enough, and you don't need to work so much sincerely on making use of your brain. Let's hear you, how these two are blended, and you are aware about both sides.
Right. Well, I'll just speak starting from the pageant. There were about 10 girls, and all of them were very educated. They all held college degrees, some who were doing their masters, some who graduated with bachelors, and that's an example of the fact that, they're educated women. And yes, people have their opinions that if you're beautiful, you don't really need a brain, or you don't need to be educated. but I totally disagree with them because it's all part of it. Beauty and brain what makes you a person that you are. You know, you're not going to survive in this world being beautiful. You have to have knowledge. And even in this pageant, yes, they saw beauty, but they saw brains too. They want to see how well you could answer, your knowledge about certain issues. If you are able to speak out, or if you can speak out in front of public, you know, you could relay your message, or you could, you know, stand with an example. So I completely disagree that you need both.
You definitely need both, and the way this beauty pageant is designed, I think there is a section wherein you are supposed to share your views or response to some of the questions that are asked. What was it that was asked to you during the pageant?
Well, let me take it a day before the pageant. We have a preliminary round with 10 judges, and 10 different judges ask you 10 different questions. And these questions could be about anything, you know. It's opinionated questions, like if you were to choose between family or your career, what would you choose? If you were to be on top of a magazine, what magazine would you want to be top of? Bunch of various different questions. So it starts all from there. And the day of the pageant, you go in front of about 10 judges, and I think there were more than like 500 or 600 people there. And on stage, I was asked, my first question was that divorce rates are going up in Pakistan. Do you think it's due to Western influence? That was my first question.
So the question is interesting. The question is, divorce rates are increasing in Pakistan, and whether Zainab thinks that this is because of the Western influence. Which of course presupposes that Western influence means separation. Is about it right after this break.
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.
We were talking right before this break about Western influence being the reason for separation, be it Pakistan, be it India, be it even in America. So let's talk about the other side. What do you think makes marriage successful marriage?
Well, I personally believe that it's compromising, it's having unconditional love for each other, and it's more of understanding than anything. Today, life is moving so fast that, you know, everybody's trying to get ahead of each other. You got to remember that you love each other, and you got to be together moving forward instead of leaving one behind. So that's my personal opinion about it.
Wonderful opinion. And when you say unconditional love, and I believe you need to be in tune to your completeness or awareness about yourself, then only probably you can share unconditional love with anybody, or you can even receive that. So are we, when we are growing, let us say in Pakistan or in America, do we grow with different mindset, the kind of mindset which makes it difficult for someone to become more accommodative, as you mentioned about compromise?
I do think that, you know, I would say that just speaking about different countries, like if I was living in Pakistan, I would have a completely different mindset that I have today here in America. And it also depends that, you know, I sometimes, like if my parents ask me, talking about marriage, would you be able to marry a guy from Pakistan who's living in Pakistan? And my answer is always no, because I feel that there's a different mindset. You know, they live differently, they think differently. Maybe to them I might be a little too modern. I would, you know, I don't fit the criteria of what they're looking for. And same thing goes for me, you know. So I believe that since I'm here, I have a different mindset than if I was in Pakistan.
So the place also matters in making us who we become in terms of the kind of mindset that we carry. Nobody can disagree with that. Because also, what are your self-expectations? What you want from yourself and what you become also comes from there. Talking about your educational background and the entrepreneurial spirit that has been a part of you, share with us, were you apprehensive before starting off on your own business?
Well, I started my business about a year ago, and before that, I was working for somebody. And my experience overall being a business owner has just taught me so much. I feel like today, sitting in front of you, the reason I'm so confident is because I've seen the real life. You know, that year that I lived on my own and I've got the experience that I was looking for. And I feel like having that responsibility made me the person I am. You know, and it's just a life-changing experience for me. I'm more responsible. I always think about my future now. As far as like when I was in college, I never used to think that much. Now that I'm living in the real life and I've experienced it, you know, it has made me the person that I am, and I'm very grateful for that.
So talking about the future, what do you consider to be your ultimate goal?
Well, there's a lot. Right now, I just, like I said, I have my own business, and I'm focusing on that. But winning Miss Pakistan World 2012 has changed my life, and it opened so many doors of opportunity. And whatever I feel like doing, I feel like I have the opportunity to do it. You know, I just need to focus on what exactly I want to do. But if something good, like that interests me, comes along my way, then, you know, I have different goals then. But right now, I just want to be successful in anything that I do, whether it be my own business or, you know, towards modeling or anything in particular. I want to find my success in it.
The enthusiasm and the desire to be successful adds beauty to anybody and everybody. But this passion of doing something positive makes us who we are. Not only for ourselves but also for others. And moving back to this challenge in the form of becoming one of the pageants, of course you don't know that you are going to be the one, or you'll come out and you'll just have the experience. But even if you don't become Miss Pakistan World, the experience is quite fulfilling. And from that point of view, as a contestant, what do you think this whole exercise taught you?
Well, let me be honest with you. I didn't think I was going to win. And any interview that I've given, I've said it. I didn't think I was going to win. Yes, I wanted to win, but when I went in there, you know, I saw girls who were very beautiful, very talented, very educated. So, you know, you sit in a circle and you look around you and you're like, oh, wow, you know, this is going to be a hard one. And before that, I've never done anything like that. You know, this was my first pageant. And my experience overall has been amazing. I feel like it made me a stronger person, and I have more, I believe in myself more. You know, I doubted myself going into this pageant that can I win? And like I said, I didn't think I was going to win. So this experience has taught me so much about myself.
Let's just divert a little bit. When first you thought that, let me be one of the contestants.
Right.
Then you discuss with maybe a few friends or family members.
Right.
So what were their input?
I spoke to my family first, and my brother, he's my younger brother, and he's like my best friend. So he was very supportive. He's like, go for it, you know, and he was just clowning around about it. You know, he wasn't taking it seriously, but he was like, go for it. My mom, since I was younger, I always wanted to go into something like this, but she was like, you know, क्या ज़रूरत है? What's the need for it? छोड़ दो कि अपने career पे concentrate करो और अपना business अभी शुरू किया उसके ऊपर concentrate करो. So she was positive. Yes, if you want to go for it, but there's no need for you to do it, you know. And then after that, when they found out that I was really doing it, you know, they were very supportive. I told my friends, and like we started looking at the other contestants, and they started, you know, asking me, do you think you could win? You know, what can they ask you? So I had a positive feedback from my friends and my family, so that they never stopped me, don't do it. They said, if you feel like going for it, go for it, you know. And that, like, everybody was supportive of it. Nobody really put me down saying, oh no, don't do this. This is what's going to happen if you go for it. No.
That's very good. When you have a team of supporters, it definitely adds to your self-confidence and your willingness to bring out the best in you. The same way, there are some role models or people who inspire us. You might have come across someone during the pageant, or there must be someone or a number of people who you look up to in order to make yourself the best that you can be.
I'm sure you hear it often. My role model is my mom. No, hands down, you know, she's a very hardworking woman, and she came here when she was, I think, well, I would say 10, 11 years ago, and she's been working side by side with my dad, and they have done really good for themselves and really good for us. They've been our #1 supporters, and my mom is my role model. And speaking of in the pageant, I came across a lot of people that I was very inspired by. The guy who's the coordinator of the pageant, his name is Sandy, and he's actually an actor. And I was very inspired by him because he was so inspiring, and he was very nice, and he took care of us at all times. Then our choreographer, Chingezi, they all inspired me to just bring out the best in me. And at the pageant, that was it, including Sonia. We had very minimal attraction towards Sonia because she was always running around doing something. And but when I did see her, when we did speak, she always was very positive, and these are the people that I looked up to in the pageant.
Wonderful. Now, when Zainab becomes Miss Pakistan World, she herself becomes like a role model for many people. So, for those who are watching you and they are younger to you, and especially about from the point of view of girls, what is your message as to let's put it in the perspective of if you are growing up in America, then at family you have a different cultural environment, and outside it's different. So expectations from the same teenager, boy or girl, are different. So they have a sort of tug of war in them. From that point of view, what would be your message?
I would tell them that to follow your dreams. If this is something that you're really passionate about, go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. Yes, the negativity is going to come. Yes, people are going to stop you. People are going to have their opinions about you and think that you're doing something wrong. But if you feel inside your heart that this is something for you and you're very passionate about it and this is what you want to do, then don't let anybody stop you, because people talk no matter what. Whether it's good or bad, if you're stopping and not letting your dreams come into reality because of other people, then, you shouldn't doubt yourself. You need to check, make sure that, this is what you want. You need to double check if this is what you want to go for. And don't let anybody just stop you. Follow your dreams. That's what I've been doing. This was something that I wanted to do, and go for it. Don't let anybody tell you no.
So just one-word answers for 2-3 questions. Your favorite place?
One of my favorite places? I would say Dubai.
Dubai. Why?
I have family there. I've been there a few times, and I think it's just the landmarks and the beauty speaks for itself. And the people are very humble that I've interacted with, so I would definitely like to go there again.
Your favorite actor?
Bollywood? I would say Shah Rukh Khan.
And Hollywood?
I don't have that many. But
and favorite book?
There's plenty of books. The Child Called It was one of my favorite books that I read, and it just came up right in my head.
Please
The Child Called It.
And what is it that you...
It was about a kid basically who was beaten when he was younger, and he just grew up to be a man. It just shows you like life experiences that you've experienced. And I read that book a few years back, but it came in my mind right away.
Favorite film?
Kuch Kuch Hota Hai.
And why?
I think it's the story that speaks the reality itself. Two friends fall in love, and they don't know they're in love, and they are meant to be at the end, and they get back together.
Wonderful. So my guest has been Zainab and Miss Pakistan World. It's such a pleasure talking to you with lots of good wishes, and may your dreams come true.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And this is Ashok Vyas, thanking all of you for being with us.
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.